but they say that once the adrenaline starts flowing in your body, you can do
lift cars.
Yeah, you can do unbelievable feats. So I guess that's what happened to me.
Hello, and welcome to Curious World History. My name is Colleen.
And my name is Albert.
Hello, Albert. How are you?
Good.
We have a couple of things we want to say to our listeners. What's the first one?
We are in a hotel.
We're in a hotel, so we're sorry for the delay. And we are not on vacation, are we? No, we're having work done to our house, and therefore we're staying in a hotel until that work is done.
With our cat.
With our cat. It's a little tight. 3 people and 1 cat in a room, but we're going to get through that. The second thing we wanted to say is we just opened our merch shop. So if you go to curiousworldhistory.com, you can find things like t-shirts and bags and water bottles. So that's it. Well, after the delay that we've had because we've been in the hotel, we are now going to tackle a topic that is very interesting to both of us and has all of the kinds of things that we typically are looking for in a story. There's lots of people's voices in it, right? So we even found a first-person account of somebody who was involved in this. And it's history that impacted the whole world, which is really interesting. So what is today's topic?
D-Day.
D-Day. Now, do you know what the D in D-Day stands for?
No.
So I heard that in a military operation, they refer to the day that they have something planned as D, as the D-Day. And then the days before are D-1 or D-2. And afterward would be D+1 or D+2. So that's what I read it might stand for. So what world war or what war was D-Day fought in?
World War II.
World War II. And where was World War II primarily taking place?
In Europe.
In Europe, that's right. Now, of course, that expanded into parts of the Pacific, right? And also into the United States a little bit, right? Into Hawaii. So, can you tell me a little bit and what you learned about D-Day?
So, D-Day was in June 6, 1944.
Okay.
And it was when the Allies, or the America, France, Britain, and Canada, they went on to landing craft from battleships, and they sailed to Normandy Beach.
Okay.
France.
And was it just one beach or were there multiple beaches?
Multiple. There was Omaha and a few more.
Yeah, there were. So this was all part of an operation that I heard was called Overlord. That was the code name. And Overlord was not just D-Day. It was all of the operations that were happening throughout Europe in this time period. You're right, in June 6th of 1944, they decided to make an amphibious landing. What does that mean? Do you know?
A water landing.
It's water and land too, right? So when you think about an amphibious animal, would be like a frog, right? They operate, or what else would be amphibious? You see in the water and on the land sometimes.
A platypus.
Oh, could be. I've never seen one in real life. Maybe at a place, but turtles are another one I could think of. So there was an amphibious landing, and they were going onto those beaches. And you mentioned that already. There were 5 beaches. So there was Utah, and Utah had the U.S. 4th Infantry Division, Omaha Beach, which was the U.S. 1st Infantry Division, Gold Beach, which had the British 50th Infantry Division, Juno Beach, which was Canadian 3rd Infantry Division, and Sword Beach. Sword is in like the big tall knife that you fight with. And that was the British 3rd Infantry Division. And do you know how many vehicles were involved and how many troops?
No.
I had in here that there was an invasion force that included about 7,000 ships and landing craft and over 195,000 naval personnel from 8 allied countries. Amazing. Okay. Talk to me about what you learned here.
So in 1939, World War II begins. 1940, Germany conquers France. Britain stands alone in Western Europe. 1941, Germany invades the Soviet Union. The U.S. enters the war after Pearl Harbor
And where was Pearl Harbor?
in Hawaii.
Okay.
1942 to 1943, Allies fight in North Africa and Italy. The Soviets push westward. The Big Three, Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin.
Mm-hmm.
They agree that opening a Western front is essential to defeat Hitler.
Do you know what a front is?
The front line.
It's a front line, right? It's a place where they're going to attack the enemy. Okay.
Yeah. And Hitler was the German.
That's right. He was in charge of Germany. He was the chancellor, I believe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So I learned some interesting stuff. As they decided to do this, they decided not only to attack them with their military power, but they also used some very clever tactics to try to fake them out.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Okay. Do you want to tell me what you heard about?
They put a fake army.
They had a fake army. That's right. They had, as a matter of fact, they had a group they called the First U.S. Army Group. It was supposedly commanded by George Patton, General George Patton, who they considered to be one of the best generals. So when they saw that Patton was involved, Germany thought this must be a real army that they're doing this with. That fake army used inflatable rubber tanks, wooden aircraft, dummy landing craft, and even fake radio traffic. So they totally pretended that they were attacking over there. I thought that was interesting. And the purpose was to convince the Germans that the invasion was going to come from the Pas de Calais, I believe it's called. And that is another part. That's the narrowest point across the English Channel. So not in Normandy where the beaches were where they actually invaded. And I also heard they had dummy paratroopers. Did you hear about this?
Mm-hmm.
So these were a paratrooper is someone who does what?
They jump out of planes.
That's right. With a big parachute. Yeah. And so these were fake ones. So they were smaller than a real person. They looked like they were about 1 foot to 2 feet tall.
That's really hard.
Yeah. But from afar, it's hard to tell how big something is. So they dropped them out of planes and it looked like paratroopers were coming down. And they were dropped with small explosives that mimicked gunfire. So it sounded like and looked like they were shooting as they were dropping out of the sky. I also heard they used naval decoys and double agents with false intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a double agent. Do you know what a double agent is?
Like some DQ works for like both sides.
It looks like they are going against the side they're supposed to be on, but they're not. So there was a double agent who was from Spain, and he was pretending that even though he was supposed to be with the Allies, that he was actually working with the Germans, and he wasn't. He was giving the information back to the Spanish coming from the Germans. And so his nickname was Garbo. That was his operation name. And he gave these false alerts to the Germans, these false reports that there was going to be a different kind of invasion.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty interesting how he operated that way. Mm-hmm. So what else can you tell me about that day?
So D-Day was originally scheduled for June 5th, but postponed due to bad weather.
Okay.
And on June 6th, a narrow break in the storm allowed the invasion to proceed.
Okay. So they decided to move forward.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay. What else happened?
And around 13,000 paratroopers from the U.S. 82nd and 101st Airborne and British 6th Airborne were dropped behind enemy lines before dawn. Their mission was to secure bridges, destroy enemy artillery, and block German reinforcement.
So I found a really interesting first-person account.
Mm-hmm.
And a first-person account, what is that?
Like an account from the person.
So somebody who was there on that day and who actually was part of the invasion, his name was Charles Norman Shea. So Charles Norman Shea is a gentleman whose account I found online with the Library of Congress. He was born in Bristol, Connecticut in 1924, which is where someone you knew grew up, Who's that?
You.
Me. And his family moved to Maine. He was a member of the Penobscot tribe, which is a tribe of indigenous people who've been here long before all the Western settlers came. And he fought in World War II from 1939 to 1945. But he also eventually fought in the Korean War. So this is a gentleman who spent a long time in the Army. He was involved just for World War II in Operation Overlord, in the D-Day Normandy invasion, but he was also involved in the Battle of the Bulge, which took place in Belgium. His highest rank that he ever achieved after being drafted was Private First Class. His dates of service were 1943 to 45 in this war. And he earned a Bronze Star and a Silver Star, as well as the Legion d'Honneur, making him the first Native American in Maine with the distinction of French Chevalier, which is a big deal. The French gave him an award. So in this interview that I found on the Library of Congress website, his boat hits one of the obstacles as he's talking about his experience.
The bomb?
No, his boat hit an obstacle, which were these big, huge things that they put in the water to stop a boat from coming in and landing. And when his boat hit that, now all of a sudden they were just sitting there, which makes them an easy target because they're not moving. So they were ordered to get out of the boat and to get on land. Well, he and all of the other men get out of the boat, and they are now in chest-high ocean water. And all of their clothes and everything else is filling with water. And they had to trudge very slowly.
And they had
because it was
really
so
heavy gear.
It was really heavy gear to begin with. So you can imagine, heavy gear plus water makes it even heavier, right? So they waded with their water and their equipment and all their clothes to the beach. And when he gets there, he starts treating the wounded. But then he turns around and sees that other men are drowning from the weight of the waterlogged uniforms and equipment. And he said,
And I looked back and I saw that there were many wounded men that were floundering in the water and could not help themselves. And I knew that if nobody went to help them, they were doomed to die, to drown, because they were loaded with heavy equipment. They couldn't fend for themselves. They couldn't help themselves. So I left what I was doing on the beach, and I proceeded back into the water. And I proceeded to get as many men as I could out of the water by turning them over on their backs and grabbing under their shoulders. I don't know where my strength came from. But they say that once the adrenaline starts flowing in your body, you can do...
lift cars.
Yeah, you can do unbelievable feats. So I guess that's what happened to me.
There were 133,000 troops that landed from the U.S., British Commonwealth, and other allies, and that the casualties among these countries during the landing numbered about 10,300.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. And in terms of reinforcements and logistics, so by June 30th of 1944, more than 850,000 men, 148,000 vehicles, and 570 tons of supplies had been landed on Normandy shores. So they spent a lot of time after they defeated the Germans there, moving more supplies so that they could complete Operation Overlord.
Yeah.
And so what happens in the end? Who ended up winning the war? Was it the Germans? Or was it the Allies?
Allies.
The Allies, that's right. And who joined the Germans in the war? Do you know?
The Japanese.
That's right. So the Japanese were allied with the Germans, right?
Yeah.
So it was an amazing feat that they pulled off. So on May 7th of 1945, German General Alfred Jodl signed their unconditional surrender in Reims, France. And that was the end of the war.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that you learned here that you would like to share?
Yeah, so there's a graph that I got.
A graph? And what does it tell you?
So on Utah, light resistance in a successful landing.
Okay.
On Omaha, heaviest resistance, high casualties eventually secured.
Okay.
On Gold, secured with moderate resistance.
Okay.
On Juneau, heavy fighting but beach secured by afternoon. And on Sword, successful landing, stiff German counterattack.
Got it. So it sounds like some of the beaches were harder battles than others.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yeah.
there anything else that you learned?
No.
Well, this has been very interesting. I feel like I know a lot more about this than I did before. And I appreciate all of your help. Thank you very much, Albert.
You're welcome.
This has been Curious World History.